Hello, and thank you for contacting Wave Support. I see from your request that you're struggling with optics on this keratoconus patient. Well, these can be some of the most challenging cases just because, as you recall, with these keratoconus patients, basically all the rules of the optics tend to go out the window. So you kind of have to fly by the seat of your pants sometimes. With that said, if we look at your design, overall your design looks good. A couple little general observations. If you recall, this unique refraction that you have is really a representation of this distorted cornea that you have from the keratoconus. And so it doesn't really represent the true optics of the eye. It's just based on this abnormal cornea. So if we look at the simulated K readings, you'll notice the axes are quite a bit different than your spectacle refraction. So when Wave goes to calculate this lens, it's going to create a very complicated calculation to make this lens, and you end up with compounded cylinder calculations to come up with a very sophisticated optical design. And then if this lens isn't perfectly seated on the eye in the right orientation, that would probably account for your unique overrefractions. And we'll see this quite a bit with these abnormal corneas. So a couple options to kind of correct that. One thought would be is if you can get this lens to perfectly align on the eye, you got a better chance of the optics to clear up. One of the ways to do that, if you look at your lower left corner of the quad view here, you want this back surface of this lens to look a little bit more like your topography over here on the right. The easiest way to accomplish that is to switch over and add a little asphericity into that design. And you'll see I pulled up a little design where I did that. And if we kind of compare it to yours, you'll notice that I just put a little aspheric design to redesign the lens, and you'll notice that now you have that back surface of the lens matching the cornea very closely. And if you go around basically the clock dials here, you'll see again very nice alignment in that blue to pink landing zone. So this should help this lens align much more nicely. If we look at your lens, although the lens overall looks nice, you'll tend to notice that you've got some in a pretty nice landing area here, but you got a lot of ups and downs everywhere else. So I think this will help that lens line up a little better. Another option that you have, one of the things I like to do on any of these unique corneas, before I order my lens, I like to place a known RGP lens, a spherical lens, on the cornea and get a nice over-refraction there. Just jot that information down. And then before you order this lens, go under Tools, and let me bring this up a little higher. There's a place for this trial lens data, and you can actually enter that information under here on your overrefraction and the known lens, and that'll help you achieve much better optics overall. And on the same note, if I'm looking at these patients, if I'm pretty sure this refraction is way off base from the true cornea, I'll sometimes actually leave the refraction out of here. Or if anything, just put the spherical equivalent under sphere, but basically take the cylindrical component out, still get the nice best fit based on your topography, and then I'll still go back then and add in the trial lens data that I got from that original spherical lens. So what I do in this case, I'm attempting to eliminate Wave having to do such a complicated calculations for compounding cylinder axes. I think with those couple design tips, I think that'll help you get these lenses performing better. I find that some of these keratoconus patients are very, very difficult, and even as sophisticated as Wave is and as great a tool as it is, I occasionally find myself just going back to just a regular spherical, old standard traditional design keratoconus lens in some of these patients. With that said, I wish you well with this case. Don't get frustrated, and have a great day. Thanks for contacting Wave.